You're standing backstage, your heart is pounding, and the only thing you can think about is that one question that could completely trip you up. What if your mind goes blank? What if you say the exact wrong thing? We've all been there. The pageant interview is where queens are truly made, and let's be honest, it's often the most nerve-wracking part of the entire competition. As a national title holder and pageant coach, I have been in that exact spot, trembling in my heels. And I've also sat on the other side of the table as a judge, holding the pen. I've learned that there are clear strategies that can prepare any contestant, from a total beginner to a seasoned pro, to not just survive the interview, but to actually connect with the judges and win them over. So if you want to walk into your next interview with confidence that just won't quit, stick around, because I'm about to break down the top 10 tips that will help you ace your next challenge. All right, let's jump in with tip number 1. Build a rock-solid foundation. This means you have to master your elevator pitch and know your paperwork inside and out. Think about it. The very first impression a judge has of you comes from your application, long before you walk into that room. Every single pageant starts with that application, and it immediately shows the judges if you can follow simple directions. Typos, grammatical mistakes, or missed formatting, those little things can send the wrong signal before you've said a single word. So proofread everything. Then have a friend proofread it, and then just for fun, have one more person check it. These documents, your bio, your platform statement, your resume, are the literal study guide the judges use. You would be shocked by how many contestants get stumped by a question about something they wrote themselves. I always tell my clients to print a physical copy of everything they submitted and review it constantly. At the end of the day, you have to be the world's leading expert on, well, you. Now, for the elevator pitch. This is your sharp, powerful 30-second answer to those classic opening questions. Like, tell us about yourself. Why do you want to win? Or what is your platform about? Imagine you step into an elevator with the head judge and you have until their floor to make an impression that lasts. Your pitch needs to be engaging and complete. This isn't about memorizing a script. It's about knowing your message so well that you can deliver it with genuine passion and confidence. Tip number 2 is a game changer. Understand the pageant you're competing in and its specific judging criteria. Every pageant system has its own personality, its own mission, and its own set of values. Are you in a Miss America organization pageant where scholarship, talent, and service are huge? Or is it a system like Miss Universe, which is often a gateway to an international stage and values a strong global brand? You have to do your research. Start by digging into the organization's website. Read their mission statement. Look up past winners, not just their names, but what they did with their year of service. This helps you tailor your answers to align with the pageant's vision. It shows the judges you're not just there to win a pretty crown. You want to be a brand ambassador for their organization. And please understand how you're being scored. Look up the judging categories, which might include personality, intelligence, and community involvement. When you know the rubric, you can strategically hit those points in your interview. It tells the judges you're a serious, prepared, and professional candidate who is ready for the job. This leads us right into tip number 3. Develop and communicate your personal brand. I know personal brand can sound like stuffy corporate jargon, but in pageantry, it's your secret weapon. It's the core of who you are, what you stand for, and what makes you the only person for this title. It's what makes you memorable. Your personal brand is your story, a mix of your unique personality, your platform, and your values. To figure it out, ask yourself the big questions. What makes me tick? What change do I want to bring to my community? If the judges forget everything else, what 3 things do I want them to remember about me? Once you have those answers, weave that brand into everything: your paperwork, your wardrobe, and especially your interview answers. Every response becomes a chance to share your message and your heart. This isn't about faking it, it's about being intentional. When your brand is crystal clear, your answers have a powerful, consistent thread that helps the judges see not just what you do, but who you are. Tip number 4 is all about what the judges see before you even say hello. Your style is a way to introduce yourself without speaking, and that first impression is incredibly powerful. You want an outfit that screams confidence, professionalism, and poise. A classic knee-length dress in a bright, solid color paired with simple nude pumps is a safe bet for many systems. Keep the jewelry minimal. You want them looking at you, not your bling. But again, do your homework. Some systems are more conservative and businesslike, while others appreciate more fashion-forward looks. Whatever you pick, make sure it fits you perfectly and makes you feel like $1,000,000. Beyond the clothes, your presence matters. Hair and makeup should be polished but natural. And always style your hair away from your face so they can see your expressions. Now let's talk posture. Whether you're sitting or standing, keep that posture on point. Here's a pro tip. Sit on the edge of your seat. It naturally forces you to sit up straight, and you can cross your legs elegantly at the ankles. And of course, a genuine smile makes you seem both approachable and confident. Okay, on to tip number 5. Master your interview delivery and body language. You could have the most amazing answers prepared, but if your delivery is weak, your message gets lost. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Confident body language is non-negotiable. Make eye contact with each judge to show you're engaged and sure of yourself. When you speak, be clear and try to ditch those filler words like, like, and you know. A great trick is to record yourself answering questions. When you play it back, you'll spot your habits right away. Practice the small things that feel silly but make a huge difference. Walking into the room with purpose, sitting down gracefully, and introducing yourself with a smile. And what if you get a question that makes your mind go completely blank? Don't panic. Take a breath, smile, and relate the question back to your own experiences, your platform, or your core values. It's a graceful way to pivot and get the conversation back on track. Tip number 6 is a more advanced technique that can really make you shine, using a pattern interrupt. Judges, especially at big pageants, hear the same answers to the same questions over and over. What's the biggest issue facing your generation? What have you learned from pageantry? A pattern interrupt is when you acknowledge the common answer and then offer a deeper, more unique perspective. For instance, if a judge asks about a major current event, the boring answer is to just repeat the headlines. A pattern interrupt would sound more like this. While the headlines are focused on the political fallout, I think the story we're missing is the long-term impact this will have on youth education in that region. See what that does? It shows the judges you're not just informed, you're a critical thinker. You've broken the pattern of predictable responses, which makes you instantly memorable and shows a whole new level of preparation. Tip number 7 is super simple but so important. Avoid calling the judges ma'am or sir. I know it comes from a place of respect, but in an interview it can accidentally make the judges feel old and create an awkward formal barrier. They want to have a conversation and get to know the real you. Just answer their questions directly and respectfully. It's a tiny change that helps build a much more relaxed and genuine connection. This leads perfectly to tip number 8. Prepare for common questions, but don't memorize your answers. There's a huge difference between being prepared and being rehearsed. You should absolutely think about how you'd answer frequent questions like, why are you competing? Or, what are your greatest strengths and weaknesses? But the goal isn't to create a script. In fact, memorized answers are a dead giveaway. You sound robotic, and you're left completely vulnerable if a judge asks a follow-up you didn't plan for. Instead, focus on knowing your key talking points for each topic. When you know your message inside and out, you can speak from the heart and adapt to any question that comes your way, all while staying true to your brand. Tip number 9 is to get in the hot seat with mock interviews and constructive feedback. Practicing in front of a mirror is fine, but nothing prepares you for the pressure like a real simulation. Ask a coach, a mentor, or even just some tough friends to act as your judging panel. Give them a list of tough questions and have them time your answers. This is the best way to crush anxiety because you get used to the feeling of being on the spot. The most valuable part, though, is the feedback. Ask them for their honest opinions. Where were you strong? Where did you start rambling? How was your body language? This is where the real growth happens. Take the feedback, identify your weak spots, and do it again. The more you practice and refine based on what other people see, the more polished you'll become. Before we hit our final, and maybe most important tip, if you're finding this advice helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel reach more contestants just like you. And if you're not already, Subscribe so you don't miss out on more pageant strategies. Now, I've got a question for you. What is the single biggest fear you have about the pageant interview? Drop it in the comments below. I'd love to help you out. And finally, tip number 10 is to remember that the judges are on your side. They genuinely want to get to know you. They aren't there to trick you. They're there to find the best person for the job, and they are hoping that person is you. So often, contestants try to be who they think the judges want them to be. They put on a show and hide their real personality, but judges can see right through that. The most powerful thing you can do is be unapologetically, authentically yourself. Be honest, be funny, be quirky, let your true personality shine. Forget about being perfect, focus on making a connection. If you walk out of that room having shown the judges who you really are, you've already won. Thanks for watching. Remember to prepare with purpose, speak from the heart, and walk in there knowing you have everything it takes. Now go ace that challenge.